All right, so before we get started, I would like everyone in the room, if you follow Ansem on Twitter, raise your hand. All right, now if you followed him, so we're in 2024, if you followed him in 2023, keep your hand up. Okay, 2022. Okay, 2021. 2020, any 2020 followers? COVID. I think I saw one. Wait, 2020, put your hands back up. Oh, there's like one hand going up and down. Okay, I'm gonna count you as the longest follower back there. Yeah, all right. Fun to see. Okay, so the title of this talk is Solana's main character. So Ansem, there's two of us on stage. I don't think I'm the main character, so I think this is about you. Maybe you can give us kind of a quick history of your time in Solana and past main characters. You can walk us through maybe by the years 2020 to now, or by the different bull runs, DeFi Summer, NFT Mania. Who have been some of our past main characters in the ecosystem?
Yeah, pre me. I would say I've been in Solana since like January 2021. So I've been trading crypto since 2017. Before trading crypto, I was a software engineer and did really well during the COVID cycle, which was 2020, 2021. And that's when Solana was like my biggest trade that cycle. I missed the first portion of DeFi Summer. And then after DeFi Summer happened, as you guys know, Ethereum had a ton of problems with congestion and high fees on chain. So it was difficult for people with not a lot of capital to transact and use all these applications. And that's when I got the original thesis for Solana back in early 2021. I bought it around like $1.50, I think. And yeah, did well riding it up through that whole cycle. I think I got out around like 200 or something there. So yeah, that's when my account went crazy, because my thread on Twitter, I had a thread basically detailing the entire trade all the way up, all the pullbacks and like entries, re-entries, like local tops, local bottoms, and it went from literally from $1.50 all the way to 200. So that was in 2021. Yeah, I would say main characters before me, SBF probably.
Yeah, he must so not be named.
Don't have a Greek president there, but yeah, no, it's been cool. It's been cool seeing people follow the trade that cycle, and then also this current cycle, 2023. A lot of the same people that had conviction in Solana back then took a similar trade this cycle around like $15, $20 after the FTX explosion, and are now doing well again. So it's been cool.
Okay. So, well, thank you first of all for being here at the conference. I think everyone is excited to have you here, and you've already been on some really great panels today. And those panels have talked a lot about your background, kind of your take on trades and the Memecoin mania. So I'm keen to return to this talk title here, the main character. So very recently, Beeple tweeted, and Beeple, huge NFT figure. I would say he was an NFT main character in the last, bull run. He tweeted and he said, it's Ansem's world and we're all just living in it. And then he had this really funny photo with like a kind of avatar of your face on it. How did you feel when you saw that?
I mean, it's been wild. The amount of like memes that people have made of me, different coins have made of me, like different people put me in videos, like all different types of stuff has been insane, honestly, just to watch. Because it came out of nowhere. I mean, last cycle I did well with like 100K followers, but this cycle, literally my face is plastered across all of like the Solana altcoin ecosystem. A lot of it is because of WIF and Bonk, two trades that I took. I did pretty well on and people tailed me on. And then just like the entire thesis around Solana, not a lot of people were confident that DEX volumes, NFT volumes, like daily active users would come back on Sol after FTX blew up and the whole perception around SBF. People had a very negative perception of Solana, and not a lot of people thought the chain would come back. But I was one of the few people who was like loudly outspoken, talking about Solana DeFi and the opportunities with airdrops, talking about the opportunities on chain once people move back over, and just the difference in UX between Solana and other L1s like Ethereum. It was clear to me, but it wasn't as clear to other people. But it's wild. It's crazy.
Well, we're all living it through you. So, was there a moment you had where like you woke up one day and it was just an insane amount of followers, or you were in person at a conference and people started recognizing you? Like, did you have a moment you can remember where you thought to yourself, wow, like my life is different now, something has changed?
Honestly, not really. I mean, it's because it's still going. Like I'm still getting followers at a rapid pace as I have been the past 3 months. Like December, I was around 100K followers. Now I'm getting close to 400K followers, which is insane. Insane. But the cool thing is that whenever I come to conferences like this or go to crypto events, there's always somebody there who like bought WIF early or bought Solana early and did really well and either got to pay off some debt or like bought a house or whatever else. And those people are just really grateful that I'm online sharing information. So that's why I still keep doing it, even though there's some crazy people online also. But it's really cool. It's cool to see. But I don't think there's really one moment. Like Token 2049 was pretty crazy. I like people circling me to take pictures, but it wasn't all that different from Barcelona in like 2022.
Okay. And obviously you're this very public figure, and I think after this conference too, even more people within Solana will kind of know your face and know your voice.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider being anon?
No, I mean, the reason I never considered being anon, I've been on the internet forever. Like, I was playing World of Warcraft at like 9, 10 years old on those forums, talking to people, like doing the raids in PvP. I played League of Legends. Like, I was a Tumblr kid. Before I was active on crypto Twitter, I was on Twitter nonstop. The same Twitter account I have now that I'm active talking about crypto is the same one I had in 2012 that like all my boys from high school and college follow me on. So I've always been doxxed on my Twitter. My Twitter's been my personal Twitter before it was my crypto Twitter, and I was Ansem. It was Zion and Z. So yeah, I never really considered it because it just kind of flowed into what I was doing. Whatever I was talking about online just came through all my accounts.
Okay. So maybe you could walk us through like what is an average day in your life? Walk us through kind of your routine, your morning routine, maybe your skincare routine. Like, how are you spending your time? What is the first thing you're doing? Are you pulling out your phone right away? Like, what web page do you go to when you open your laptop? Like, walk us through a day in your life.
Yeah, I pull out my phone immediately when I wake up. I check Twitter before I brush my teeth, like before I do anything else. So yeah, that's first. But I think right now, so in 2020, 2021, I was really heavy on perps. I was very heavy, like doing technical analysis. My best trades that cycle were rotating between all the different altcoins and different narratives as they were happening. Like before they were happening, I was really good at being in position before stuff would pop off. And then when stuff popped off hard, I would like slam the trades really aggressively. Like that Solana, I don't know if you guys remember like Sol, Luna, AVAX, that trio last cycle, the L1s. I did really well with like rotating between all of those L1s, all of those trades. Axie did really well with, but it was mostly on perps. So I was active like whatever, 12 plus hours a day looking at charts on like the low time frame charts, not just daily, weekly, monthly. And this cycle, I'm not as active trading perps as I am doing like more on-chain stuff and then kind of swing trading, because I'm also doing angel investing now, like I'm also a co-founder now. I'm doing more active with like the social media stuff, which I'm working on Ansem Media on, because for me it's like, it's easier for me to just hold spot positions now rather than try and maximize my daily profits. I'd rather like swing trade and then focus on other things where I think I can help more people. So that's kind of where I'm at this cycle. So more of it is calls with like people, founders, investors, all that type of stuff. More of it is working on like my app. And then also, I'm still in the trenches for sure, but it's less like charts 12 hours a day.
Okay. So the next thing I want to kind of ask and talk to you about, this isn't really a fully formed thought yet. It's something I've been thinking about and want to hear your take on. We all have kind of these different relationships to tokens and ecosystems.
Yep.
Like I think a lot of people, like Bitcoin is probably the first thing we learn about, then it's usually Ethereum. Like there's sort of this path many of us take. Some of us feel this philosophical connection to certain ecosystems. Some of us find humor in the meme coin mania. There's all of these different kind of reactions we have to projects and ecosystems. And how has that changed for you? I guess I find, obviously, and especially with people taking your face and plastering it all over, there's a lot of humor in kind of your line of work and the work that you do, but it probably wasn't always like that. How has your relationship to tokens or chains or ecosystems sort of shifted over time? Like, where did you start, and how are you thinking about it now?
Yeah, it's like a lot more personal now, I would say. I would say early on, when I was early to Solana, I was an active market participant, but it was kind of like outside looking into everything. So I was one of the first people doing DeFi on Solana, like on Radium, and all those DEXs providing liquidity, like testing out protocols in that way. Like one of the first people to buy SAMO when that dropped, like the first meme on Solana. Being active like NFTs and all of that, and kind of like sharing my thoughts on the process. But now it's almost like I'm a part of the Solana community because I did all of that back in the day when I was like outside looking in. People saw me do all of that, shared it all publicly. A lot of people were taking the same trades, doing the same things, using the same protocols, and now it's like kind of a shared experience that all of us who have been active on Solana for the past 3-4 years or so have together. So it's kind of like more I would say close-knit community. Pretty like connected to all the memes and all that stuff on Sol too. Just, yeah, literally like directly in the middle of it. So yeah, that's what I would say. It's kind of like more intimate relationship.
And do you feel like you have to kind of like, you kind of have the online version of you and then you have the real life version of you, and you have to like consciously separate those things? Or is it kind of like it's just your life and you're just in it 24/7?
No, I'm definitely the same online and offline. Like I post a lot. I'll post stuff from Club Space in Miami. I post that online. Same place I post my trades. You can see me in person doing that. I think like sharing like trade information, I'm literally will be on my phone trading while I'm talking to people. People are like, yo, Z, how do you tweet so much? They'll see me outside walking around. I'm walking around with my phone in my hand, like tweeting nonstop. I'm pretty much the same person, online and offline. I would say one thing that's changed for me is being more extroverted and doing more public speaking, because I did zero of that in high school and like college. I was way more introverted. I was always like the quiet kid. Whenever I talked, people would usually listen to what I had to say, but I didn't talk a lot. I was like captain of some of the sports teams that I played on, but I didn't say a whole lot. It was the other people who talked a lot. And like more recently, I realized over the past few years or so, it's like helpful to other people when I'm more outspoken and like speak more, talk more about my ideas and everything else, which is why I've been more active with doing that. But it's definitely a learned skill. Like public speaking, everything is not an easy thing to do.
So who's the craziest person, or like, most influential person, or who made you the most excited to like get a random DM from?
Probably Arthur. Arthur Hayes, for sure. I met Arthur actually in space. I actually went to a talk to see Arthur talk, I think in 2018. I want to say 2018 during the bear market, and I got to see him talk about like BitMEX, how he thinks about crypto, and like what he thinks about the space, what he thinks about it moving forward. But I've been following him for like super long time, and like as one of the only prominent black people in crypto, he was huge to me. So getting to meet him in person was super cool, and like just being able to talk to him, I think is cool.
When was that you got to meet him in person?
I met him, I want to say 2021. No,
okay.
2022.
Still, that's 2 years ago.
Yeah, relatively soon. Yeah, 2022. I think it was Bitcoin Miami in 2022. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I went around the conference today, and I went up to a bunch of random people and asked who was following you. Told them I was doing this Fireside, and wanted to see if there was any questions from folks, from our fellow community members.
Yeah.
So I have a list here. Some of them are serious. Some of them are a bit more silly.
Okay.
It can be rapid fire. Some might require a bit more thought. But we'll kind of go down the list here. So the first question was, what's your alt handle?
Guys, I don't have an alt. I don't have an alt. My trade journal is CON ZIMP. It's Consent, which is like consolidation and impulsion. It's basically only two things that markets do. So that account was the one I had during COVID. Is where I posted literally all my trades. So it was my journal. I just posted it like I was writing to myself, and I had about 100 or so followers on there when I was posting. I would post like every chart, every trade that I took, the amount of risk I was taking, like week to week, month to month. All my ideas were just lived there. And then some of my followers were like, yo, dude, you need to like publish this, do more long form stuff instead of just writing a journal, like write longer pieces. So that's when I started writing my Substack, which I think was Q4 2021, I want to say. I think Q4 2021. But I wrote that Substack, which is like a longer piece, same format as my journal and everything. And I posted it on my private account. It was private trade journal. And then somebody took the Substack and reposted it on Twitter. And it just got shared super far. That's when that blew up. And that's kind of when my account started going like parabolic. People were like, yo, who is this dude? Like calling all this stuff, talking about his thesis and everything. But yeah, I don't have like an alt account that I shared stuff on. I have a Telegram channel where I post trades, but I don't have an alt account.
Okay, so we'll shut down the rumor.
Yeah,
so
no
alt
alts.
account,
I don't
folks.
have an alt.
No alt account.
I swear.
Okay, so the next question, I'm going to just read it as they said it. Have you bought an island? Will you buy an island? When will you buy an island?
No, I have not bought an island, and I don't plan on buying an island, no.
All right, you heard it here, folks, no island. Okay, so this next question, I thought this was a really interesting one. Someone was bringing up the Biden, and the question is basically like, how do you choose which ideas you're gonna seed into memes? Like, you know, there must be many ideas that go through your head a day or many things that you're seeing online. And like, what is that process like? Like, how are you kind of choosing things that you're going to put your time into? And maybe with that one, like, what was it that you were like, oh, this is funny, I'm going to, you know, jump on this train? Or, yeah, what's that process like?
That's a good question. Yeah, I said this on a pod the other day. I think if you were to ask somebody if you thought memes on the internet were ever going to go away, everybody would say no, no shot. Memes have existed on the internet since its introduction, are going to be around forever. Just with more people being online, of course, everything's going to be memes, stuff's going to go viral. And so because of that, the total addressable market now for all these meme coins is like infinite. Anything that's been popular on the internet or pops up, goes viral in pop culture or like on social media, people can literally just turn it into a meme instantly. And with that, you're just gonna have a ton of options on like what memes you wanna buy, what you wanna trade, and all of that. I would say like how I decide which memes I think are gonna be good ones. It's mostly three things. It's like, the first thing I would say is how relatable it is. And that's talking about like, say somebody has no idea what crypto is, absolutely zero idea. Couldn't tell you what an L1 is, L2 is, DeFi, any of that. If you show them a picture of whatever meme coin, how likely is it that that's relatable to them? So one of the reasons that I think Dog with Hat did so well is because it's just a dog with a hat. You don't need to know anything about crypto or finance or anything to understand, oh, it's a picture of a dog with a hat, it's funny. So it's like super relatable to people, and that's kind of like your retail score for how likely it is that somebody would like the meme, laugh at the meme, whatever else. The second thing I think I would say is distribution. So distribution with these memes is super, super important in the early days of forming community, because if you have somebody who has like 10% of a coin supply, it's super hard for a meme to hit escape velocity because they're constantly going to be selling or TWAPing out. And also, if it's like in a single person's hands, nobody's really going to want to buy. So distribution is really big because you want a ton of smaller wallets with like smaller positions in the coin early that are just really active. And then if you have a ton of people in at low market cap, that's typically when you see these cult communities form as stuff goes up. Like, oh, I'm in from so low anyway, my price basis is basically, cost basis is basically zero. My targets are like infinity or whatever else. And then I would say the third thing is like the virality aspect, and it's probably not the most, probably second most important one, outside of relatability, but you can have something that's relatable to a lot of people, right? But then the more important piece is how is it gonna go viral? So for something to go viral, you either have to have connection to some current events that's going on, or like somebody big who's pushing it, or somebody with a ton of influence that people listen to that's pushing it, or just like a super large amount of people that already have access to it. And with Bowden specifically, the way that can go viral super easily is through the election. So like Trump and Biden are gonna be speaking nonstop all year. People are gonna be talking about politics all year. The election is gonna be front of media and all of that. So it's like, if there's any kind of connection that people can make between Bowden and the election, whether it's making fun of Biden or like whatever, Biden supporters supporting it, Trump supporters supporting it, whichever, that's like one of the ways that could really go viral. And if you look at last cycle, the reason that Doge went to literally 100 billion market cap is because of Elon, and Elon was talking about it nonstop. So it was super easy for it to go viral because he's literally the richest person on the planet, and he's nonstop talking about Doge. So everybody who knew what Elon was, like, okay, I'll buy $10 worth of Doge, I'll buy $100 worth of Doge. So like his distribution was just crazy. And then I think, I don't know if like the fourth thing I would say is like how you can connect the meme to other things that already exist that aren't directly the meme. So like WIF is another good example where it's like the hat, if anybody's wearing a hat stays on, that's connected to WIF. And people's minds already make the connection to WIF. And I think a lot of other memes are kind of similar in the way that you can extend them out and attach them to other things, which is like super, super powerful for making stuff go viral.
Yeah, I think your point on kind of the notoriety of the name, whether it's like Biden/Bowden or Elon Musk, like going on SNL and like referencing Dogecoin, like that can go so far. And then also the really cool thing about the internet and about memes is that it also doesn't have to have those things to sometimes go super viral.
Yeah.
You know, and having that, like, yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah. All right, so another audience question we had is, what is your daily average screen time?
So high. Honestly, I could probably check it. It's got to be like 10, 12 hours, or maybe higher, depending on if the market's hot.
You're in a safe place. I think most people, it's probably 10, 12 hours in this room, so there's no judgment here.
It's super high, super high.
Okay, so what is bad advice on trading that you've received? And maybe someone in the traditional trading world gave you advice, and when you came to crypto, you realized it was wrong, or maybe someone in crypto trading gave you some advice. Like, is there anything you can think back on where you're like, you know, I didn't listen to that, I stuck to my intuition, and I'm so glad I did?
Yeah, something came to mind almost immediately. I think, so if you read your normal TA books or listen to a lot of by-the-book traders, some of them will tell you to risk the same percent on every single trade. I think that's actually really bad advice, because if you risk the same percent on all of your trades, you don't size up in positions where you have more conviction, and you also don't size down in positions where you don't have as much conviction. And I think the differentiator between really good traders and just like average traders are those, like, when they hit big, they profit a lot, where it's like, the people who just size regularly into something they had a lot of conviction in, they don't make as much as they would have if they really believed in their ideas and their theses. Like, for example, Solana. If I would have just sized that like a regular trade that I take every day, I wouldn't have made as much as I did like off that trade this past year or so, where I was super, super confident, and it was a situation where I was against a lot of people. I knew that if I was right, it was gonna pay out a lot. So I think that's a really good one, like not sizing the same on all your trades. And then something else I think is really helpful is like just journaling in general, because anybody can learn TA, anybody can read a chart, anybody can look at a meme and decide like if I want to buy or sell it. But the biggest thing for really being a great trader is the psychology aspect. So you have to be able to forgive yourself when you're wrong. You have to be able to know when you're euphoric, like when you're upset with yourself, and be able to manage your emotions in a way that doesn't affect your trading. And I think that's like really, really, really important. So if you journal on a consistent basis, whenever you're in some trades, you know how you're feeling about the trade, know like how the market is feeling generally, and then you can look back on that and reference that in the future when you need to look back and see, why did I make this decision? Or why did I do well with this but do poorly with this? And then it just helps with tracking all your positions on a regular basis.
Okay. Well, we have just under a minute left, so I have one final question for you. And this question is, if you could go back in time, and let's pretend you're sitting right here, but instead of me, it's 2020 Ansem.
Okay.
What would you want to tell him?
2020 Ansem.
Yeah.
Sell Jewel, probably. I think. Yeah, I would say so when you hit a lot of trades back to back to back to back to back, which is what happened to me in 2020, 2021. I didn't miss a lot of trades consistently for a while. I was like on a super hot streak. And eventually I was like, okay, I think market is top, and I called the market top as well, pulled money out of the market, but I wanted to trade so bad because I was so confident in my ability to trade that I was like, okay, I gotta get back in the market. What am I missing? Like I couldn't just sit and be like, I'm good, like I'm chilling, I don't need to trade right now. So I think an important part of trading is also being able to step back and just like be able to take time away from the market, because the market is always gonna be there. There's always gonna be trades to take, whether you take off a week, a month, a year, 2 years, there's always gonna be some trade that's like an amazing trade that's there that you missed or you took the trade. So I would say like when you hit big, if you do hit big and you do well, like just take some time away from screens. You don't really need to be trading 24/7, especially if you're confident like market is chilling for a bit, and then have hard invalidations for when you really, really feel like you need to get back in. But that's what I would say, like being able to take time away from the market.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Ansem. It was a real pleasure to get to speak with you, and very glad to have you as our main character. And thanks for being here.
Cool. Thank you.